On this week's episode of All About the Money, we're going to react to Charlie Kirk's debate with a college student. And they're debating if whether or not college is a scam. This is Jordan Green-Ellis, and welcome to All About the Money.
Jordan Green-Ellis.
Jordan Green-Ellis.
Mr. Jordan Green-Ellis.
Mr. Green-Ellis.
Jordan Green-Ellis.
I know you may not feel like it, but your feelings are temporary, and sometimes they may not be telling you the truth about who you are. In fact, most times they aren't telling you the truth about who you are. You may feel like you come from the wrong side of the tracks or the wrong neighborhood, or maybe the unlikely is okay. When I was in college, I couldn't afford books, but now I write books for college students.
I was hoping we could talk a little bit more about how you see college as a scam.
Okay, I think we did that, but sure. So,
If you want to talk about something else, we can talk about something else. I was just curious.
okay. What would you like to pinpoint on that?
Yeah, well, I think a big part of your issue is that people are spending a lot of money and that you feel like they're not getting the equivalent of all the money that they go into debt or that they have to borrow to make it worth it. Well, in that case, I think education is really awesome. I think it's really valuable. I think education's the only way that someone like you is able to write a book is because someone taught you how to read and write. And education on all levels is great. So that's not I don't think that's your issue with college, right?
Do you know where I went to college?
I don't think that's important right now. Let me just,
I didn't.
I'm just I said read and write, like, who taught you to read?
No, I agree. I didn't say grade school's a scam.
Can we just keep going? All right.
I said college is a scam, not grade school.
Right.
Keep going.
So we're talking about the financial part, right? So do you think that college should be free then, so that everybody can get like a free education?
No.
Why not?
By the way, what's happening in college is not an education.
Well, okay. You don't think that college should be free because it's not an education? If it was,
no.
Wait. If it was an education in your eyes, would you think that should be free, or
what do you mean by free? You mean paid by somebody else?
Oh, sure, our taxpayer dollars would go to
okay.
pay for it.
So paid by somebody else.
Sure.
Sure. No, I don't believe that your schooling should be paid by somebody else.
I want my taxes to go to schooling for everybody. I think education's great. I don't want my taxes to go to fund wars. I don't want my taxes to go to the military or the police budget, but I don't get to pick.
You don't want any military?
I don't think that it should go to fund the military like that. I want my taxes.
You don't want any police force?
I want my taxes to go towards education because I think education is valuable. Do you think that education should be paid for?
So define education. I'm curious.
Sure. It's just I would probably say that education right now is the ability to go out and learn different mindsets, to be introduced to different subjects, to have the opportunities to talk about these things with a lot of different kinds of people. I think that's the really cool part about college. Someone like you can come here and have different opinions. My history teacher just talked about how he does this whole like, I'm a conservative, old school conservative act, and then one of my other teachers, she's like, I'm a bleeding hippie, you know? There's like a lot of opportunities to just be introduced to subjects you didn't even know were a thing. Like, I didn't know that semiotics was a thing until my last philosophy class, and I think that's really interesting. So just the idea that you get to go out to this place and you get to get taught about a bunch of different ideas, are you against that being available for everyone?
I have a completely different view of what education is. So education in Latin means to lead forth.
Okay.
Your idea of education is the new age, which is we're going to have like a buffet line of postmodern ideas and all ideas are treated the same. I don't believe that at all. College means partnership in Greek. And going back to education, you must lead forth towards something. And I think college should lead you towards the good, the true, and the beautiful.
Okay.
It should lead you towards things.
You think it should lead towards beautiful things?
Of course.
Like beautiful things? Like, you think that we should go out after college and be like, where's the prettiest thing that's
If your idea of beauty is just the aesthetic, then you're not having a great college experience.
What's your idea of beauty? My bad.
That which is perfected in being.
Okay, so you really like the Greek ideas and like the Roman ideas of like the idea of perfection and perfect harmony, because that's like a very Greek and Roman way of
it's Western, which is the civilization we currently live in.
Okay, but
let me finish.
From Greek and Roman
of course, you're right. So the good, the true, and the beautiful are the three things that every college student should grapple with. Do you think in this current university that is what you're currently grappling with? That the focus of your education is enriching yourself to get closer to what is good, what is true, and beautiful?
See, I don't engage with you on the ideas that good, true, and beautiful are something that can be defined and something that can be taught.
You're perfect evidence of why I think college is a scam.
Why do you... Wait, I don't...
Because of course they could be defined, and they should be sought after.
Okay, so you think that something like the
I missed
that
it. Let me
good,
hear that.
true, and beautiful are something that can be defined and something
Well,
that can be taught.
You're perfect evidence of why I think college is a scam.
Why do you wait? I don't.
Because of course they could be defined, and they should be sought after.
Okay, so you think that something like the beautiful, the perfect, like
Yes.
something like goodness can be defined in quantifiable, teachable. Oh, because you're Christian, I forgot. You guys think
Yes.
that there's like
Yes.
a binary to
Well, no,
goodness.
there's a hierarchy, not a binary.
Oh,
there's
okay.
an ultimate perfection. The ultimate
Okay.
perfection would be that there's a creator who loves you, who
Okay.
made you in his image, and loved you so much to come down and take the broken flesh form, live a perfect life, die and rise from the dead, so that you might live forever. There is nothing more perfect, good, true, or beautiful than that.
He's right.
Okay, so I don't really engage with religion like that, but what about just the idea that you get to go to a place, you get taught about different subjects, you get the opportunity, okay, I'm sorry, because you don't have access to all these things wherever you come from. You get the opportunity to talk to people who know a lot about these different subjects and get to learn about that. You don't think that
No,
should be free or like provided
First of all, I don't think it should be free, and I don't think that's what education should be or what it once was when it was at its best.
When do you think it was at its best? Because we have like the Indian Golden House of, I think it was called the
Okay.
Baghdad Golden House of Wisdom. We have the Greek and Roman, and they had their whole thing about how
This
you
is
have
a
to
lot.
learn astrology at the same time as learning your education. We
Correct.
have like so many different points of learning and knowledge. I think people just love to learn. I think learning is inherent to what we want to do with our lives.
So two thoughts. That is the first line of Aristotle's Metaphysics, which is all people seek to know, that something within us wants to learn. So to answer your question, when was education at its best?
No, that was you were the one who
Can I
was like,
finish?
education is not at their best here. You're like, this is your new age bullshit. Like,
It is. So
when was it good?
I was about to say that, and you interrupted me again,
Oh,
okay?
my bad. I'm
All right.
sorry.
So it was at its best when we had a thing called classical education here in America, specifically around the American founding. Classical education has a prioritization on Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and the core canon of Greek thinking, which is that there is an abstract, distant good, the logos, which created the world, right? I want to try to find out more about what that is.
So you think that education should revolve around ethics then? You think it should be teaching
it's a big
people...
part of education, yes. I think that creating good people should be the number one priority of education.
Okay.
Do you guys think that creating good people is a priority at Cal State Fullerton?
I don't think that is really a thing that you can achieve, like, with a pointed... I don't think there's a way to really teach somebody... Being a good person is so hard, and it involves so many different factors.
I could prove to you how we could do it.
We're getting a little bit too general with things. Because the Greeks and the Romans, they weren't really like... They had a lot of beliefs, okay? Plato and Aristotle were not like, let's do the most good. They were not all in agreement about all these different things. They had a lot of different...
They had a teacher-student relationship. But let me ask you a question. Do you think people would commit more crimes or less crimes if they knew that a police officer was watching them at all times?
I don't think this is what we're talking about.
No, you said you cannot teach people good. I'm asking a question. If somebody thought that somebody was watching their actions, would they behave differently?
I think that people behave differently when
Yes,
people watch
therefore,
their actions.
if society thought that there was a God that was watching all of their actions, would they behave differently?
Do you feel like you behave better when someone is watching your
Absolutely.
actions?
And in fact,
So you feel like you can't be good without someone there to observe
it's not a matter of you can't be good. It's that you act better if you think that there is somebody watching and judging your actions.
This is
the
really
biblical...
unfortunate for you, because I want to do good because I think it's better for the people around me, not because someone's watching me.
Hold
That's
on.
like the ideas of the panopticon.
Well, hold on a second. But if you believe that somebody is always watching your behavior, you'd be less likely to lie, less likely to steal, less likely to cheat. And this is a good question, because you're coming after this in good faith. Do you think human beings are generally naturally good or generally not so good? Are we flawed from our birth, or are we good, or are we a blank slate?
So you're bringing up these Christian ideas of good again. I don't think we really come to the same synthesis on what a good person is.
Okay,
I feel like...
Was Hitler good?
I feel like, again, you're not listening to me. I feel like we don't come to the same synthesis about what good is, because for me, I think that something like good is, again, the question of ethics. It's not really a question of education, right? So you have to decide what people decide for themselves is good is different, right? So Hitler thought what he was doing was good for his people. We do not see his actions as good because he was pretty awful to a lot of people. But when we turn things into an ethical question, he may see it as doing good for himself and God, because yes, a lot of people believe they're doing good for God, even if that thing is killing people.
Was Hitler doing something objectively wrong?
Which thing are you talking about? You're talking about the
concentration
genocide?
camps.
No, I don't like the concentration camps, believe it or not.
But hold on, you don't like. So was that objectively bad?
Objectively bad? I do think that hurting people is objectively bad.
Okay, so now we're believing in bad. So then good, there's a spectrum now. You said objectively bad. So you now just said there's a spectrum. It's not a matter of, well, somebody wanted to do some good for yourself. No. Now there's a spectrum. Concentration camp, bad. So then let's get away from that. How about Mother Teresa? Good?
Are you talking about her actions in trying to help the poor?
Hundreds of thousands of poor people that were saved in India and Calcutta thanks to her sacrificial work over 30 years.
I don't know Mother Teresa like that, but can we go back to it? I feel like we've gotten really off track.
No,
for one,
actually, you're talking about the most important thing because...
Hey, dude, you're interrupting me again.
Well, it is kind of our table, so...
So you can interrupt me, but I can't interrupt you?
Hold on. The fact you can't answer this question shows that college is a scam. Because if you can't say that Mother Teresa good and Hitler
Mother
bad...
Teresa denied anesthetics to people who were in serious pain because she thought the suffering would bring them closer to God. I think a lot of what she did could be considered...
Okay, but I'll take
whatever. We can't just reference random things and use that, because right now we're talking about ideologies. Again, I find that what I consider to be good revolves more around the fact that humans are social creatures, and generally pro-social attitudes of promoting collectivism tends to be better for people just because that's in our evolutionary nature. You are a Christian, so you believe that there's a guy watching you, and that's what makes you do good. You're
it's not.
If someone's watching me, I am more likely to be nice. But I want to be nice because I like how other reasons to do good.
I was asking the question that would you be more or less likely to shoplift if a police officer was next to you in a department store? It's a very simple ethical question.
But how does that make me good or not? That just makes me worried about consequences. No, it makes me worried about consequences, you little face man.
If you do not have consequences...
But consequences does not determine ethics.
The mark of an intellectual fool is throwing around pejoratives when they don't have wisdom. Remember that. So the question is this. If you do not believe there's a consequence to your action, why wouldn't you do the action?
See, that's, again, the ideology of consequentialism. I don't really subscribe to that.
There should be consequences.
No, but I think that consequences, your actions can exist outside of a vacuum of consequences, right? We can't make our decisions based on whether or not we think the actions will lead to a certain outcome, because those will always be random, right? So I revolve more around, we try to do things that we think will promote general pro-social attitudes. I think that is more likely to get us, other than worrying about that.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. This will tell me a lot. Is pedophilia wrong?
Pedophilia, I consider to be wrong because it is actively damaging someone else, right?
But what if they say they're a minor attracted person and it's pro-social to be with a young person? Why are they wrong?
Do you know what pro-social means? Pro-social means, there's pro-social and antisocial behaviors. It's a theory of social psychology. Pro-social generally means working together, socialization.
No, they're socializing with an 8-year-old. Why is that wrong?
Okay, that's not socializing, and you know it. Antisocial behavior usually means doing things that are considered rejecting socialization, rejecting other people, pushing things away, promoting things that other people actively end up considering less.
So then should pedophiles go to prison?
Pedophiles go to... I do not know what's the best way to handle pedophilia, because how do we know...
What are they even talking about?
Anyone should molest a child, God forbid.
But hold on.
I really don't.
Why shouldn't a pedophile go to prison?
What? Again, we're getting really off topic. Let's go back to the ideas of good and evil and
we're
consequentialism.
Talking about college is a scam, and you're a perfect example, one of the best
thank you.
I've ever seen to show the intellectual drivel that is taught on a college
Okay,
campus.
because you think that I'm not being taught about the good, the pure. Well, let's go back to that because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, the good, the true. We'll do a couple more minutes. The good, the true, and the beautiful. Yes.
Right. So you think that that's something that can be quantified, can be taught, and that it
and experience.
and not only that, that it should be taught. That
Yes.
we should promote the ideas of good and beauty to other people.
Correct.
Okay, but let's remove from that. What about just the idea of, because remember the ancient Greeks and Romans that you love so much, they didn't have the same ideas of God in the same way that we do, but
That's
they
correct.
still. Thank you for saying I'm correct. That was really nice of you.
It's true. You're right.
So when they wanted to learn, when they sought out learning, when they had schools of learning and all that kind of stuff, a lot of the times they didn't just teach things around ethics. They taught other stuff. They taught astrology. They taught medicine. They taught science. They taught arts, and people wanted to learn that. Do you think that ability, that experience of going into a place and saying, can you teach me more about this subject? Can I learn? Can I expand my worldview? Can I get open to different beliefs? Do you think that should not be paid for or not be compensated?
First of all, it should definitely not be paid for. Secondly, it depends if those disciplines are rooted in the pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty.
So you think only if they're tied into something that falls in your ideological worldview?
Can I finish? Okay. If those disciplines are rooted in the good, the true, and the beautiful, absolutely. Let me give you a hypothetical example.
Okay.
So if you go, I don't know if this school has one, but if they have some sort of center for like feminist ideology or some sort of do they have one here? Then that is not in the pursuit of what is good, true, and beautiful. That is in the pursuit of how I can complain and hate men and get a degree and be paid for that.
First of all, let me say that I too am a Christian man. I believe what the Bible says, every single word of it. I believe that also Mr. Kirk is a Christian man as well, as he stated, as I've heard him state before. And this was a genuine blind reaction, except for maybe like the first minute or two, in which I kind of looked at just to find this video. This conversation is in a very roundabout way about college or the I hesitate to even I understand what Charlie is saying, especially in the statement of why she's a good example of college being a scam. I'm not saying that I agree, but I understand what he's saying, and I actually think that the young lady was pretty sharp. Charlie is also this is what he does for a living. He's a masterful debater. He's good at what he does. I think that this young lady kind of came in a little unprepared, but this is all about the money, and they kind of didn't go down the road that I thought they were going to go on. That's why I chose this video, because she did make mention to money, and Charlie kind of spun it a different way, because that's what he does. And I don't know him. He don't know me. And so none of this is personal, but if you're saying college is a scam, I did want to address one thing. You asked, I believe Charlie asked the young lady to define education, or the question was asked, how do we define education? And I believe Charlie gave some definition that derived from the Latin language or culture. I forget exactly which one it was. And I think that I agree to a degree. I agree with that understanding. However, as he also stated, education has changed, and it's also changed for him as well. And so, yeah, I do think that this topic is a bit personal for Charlie. I think that in the way that he presents his argument, I understand what he's saying. Now, do I agree? No. Not getting a college degree is the worst decision that the vast majority of traditional college students or newly graduated high school students can make. It's the worst decision. one of the things that I love about this argument is that the folks who say college is a scam, they usually never tell you what the alternative is. And I haven't done that much of a deep dive into Charlie Kirk as it pertains to what his answer to that would be. But if I had the opportunity to speak with him, or if you ever see this video, Charlie, my admonishment to you, especially as a God-fearing man, is to not simply make such a claim without providing any sort of solution for the sake of views. If you're doing that, then I would encourage you to reevaluate how you present your content, because you are a voice in this generation, my friend. People are listening to you. What should they do if not college? I would love to hear that response. That would be one of the things that I would ask him if ever I had the opportunity to speak with him. Now, as it pertains to the definition of education, I looked it up. That's why I was looking down earlier. And according to Google, education is defined as the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. And that's what happens, right? A formal education on a college campus, right? But here's the problem, though. The definition of college, and you can look it up. I'm paraphrasing. Essentially, what it is that it's an opportunity to engage in learning at an institution of higher learning. And so it's not a traditional 4-year institution. It's also technical and trade college. It's also in a roundabout way, if you will allow me some liberty in my definition, the military, right? Because you're being trained in a skill. You're getting a formal training, a formal education. You're getting something that qualifies you, that gives you a credential, okay? Furthermore, when you obtain a college degree or its equivalent, for the sake of my definition, my question to you is, Mr. Kirk, and all those who think that college is a scam, does not having a credential, a college degree, a certificate, a trade, something official, a document that says that you're qualified for this thing and or these things, does it not increase your earning potential? Because I think that's where the young lady should have taken the conversation. It should have gone down to dollars and cents. Of course, we know the idea about student loans, but student loans are not a necessity. It's unfortunately the option for the 77% of college students, but that's not because they can't go without student loans. It's because many of them make uninformed decisions. They go to college for the wrong reasons. Plain and simply put, getting a college degree is a systematic way of increasing your earning potential, but you have to do it right. You have to do it systematically, or with some sort of foreknowledge. It's not a necessity. Of course, people can be successful. My issue is also that I've heard Mr. Kirk say that he's dropped out of college also. So he has a personal thing against it. And I get it. I understand. I have a personal thing against the student loan industry, right? But that's because I have a scar. And so I get it. But my only thing is that, or my biggest concern, rather, I should say, is that many people push this narrative, but they don't give any solutions. Okay, actually, I lied. Let me recant that statement. There was one, and I spoke about this in a video maybe like 2 weeks ago, in an episode a few weeks ago. There was one gentleman who commented on one of my TikTok posts insulting me. And his solution for those post high school is to start a business. And anybody who's ever started a business from nothing, which is the vast majority of high school students who started a business from nothing, would not advise you to do that, to be your sole bread and butter. Even Mr. Kirk, right? I believe he did go to college or community college. I believe I did hear him say that. And then he started his business, and it turned out very, very well for him. Like, this is amazing. I'm totally, what he's accomplished is totally admirable, but it's not common. And so having a credential, having a degree, having some sort of formal education is going to put you in a position to be able to earn more And that's just a statistical fact. Like, that's not speculation. The American society is set up that way. If you go to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics or the U.S. Bureau of Labor website and you look at the statistics for the job market for the next 10 years, like the jobs or the careers with, earning potential, or I forget the exact verbiage. It's like somewhere on the main page. Go look at them. Go look at them and see which ones of them require a degree. Like, this is not even an argument. The argument rather should be against the astronomical amounts that of student loan debt that college students and families go into. That should be the argument. I think I've also heard Mr. Kirk say something along the lines that many of you won't get, rather will get a job that doesn't use your degree or doesn't require a degree. Okay, I mean, but that's arguable. Not even, I wouldn't even say arguably, but that's to the discretion of the graduate, right? For whatever reason, they chose that job. Okay, maybe it was, they needed something quick, something to turn it over, but even still, they have the degree and they have more options. There are many industries that don't necessarily require a degree, right? Or you can't necessarily study in school, but you need a degree to get the job or be able to earn more on that particular job. Case in point, police officers, right? If you have a degree, you can come in earning more. And so don't be fooled by this narrative. Don't just dig with the shovel. Excuse me, don't just dig with the spoon, dig with the shovel. Meaning, dig a little bit deeper. I understand why he's saying college is a scam, because to his definition of education, it's not true education. It's not, I forget the exact trilogy term he used, the one ending with beautiful. And I think that that's extremely admirable. Like, we share the same values as it pertains to the Bible. But as it pertains to earning potential and getting to the dollars and cents, right? As it pertains to financial stability, you're going to need something to substantiate you. Not just your hopes and dreams and aspirations. Not even just how talented you are. You got to prove yourself. Having a degree is the industry standard of proof, even before they look at your work history, right? It's the industry standard. And you know what? I actually took it a step further. I actually looked at Turning Point USA, which is Mr. Kirk's organization, and they have some jobs available. They have various jobs available in different departments, their development department, their executive department, media and marketing. And I wanted to look at some of the job descriptions. And naturally, because his argument is college is a scam, he won't technically say that you need a college degree. But on the qualifications, you'll see, and this is not just Turning Point USA. This is general, right? It'll say college degree or these experiences, right? Or this many years of experience, rather, I should say. And that's pretty common. I looked at, I think, 3 different job descriptions for his organization, and it requires you to have these years of experience. And so my question is, okay, you don't technically require a degree, but you require experience, right? You want them to be excellent. You want them to be reputable. You want them to be good. So if you don't require them to have a degree, or they don't have a degree, where and how do they get that experience? Oh, they had to have had a job. Well, how would they get that job to have that experience? Of course, I'm sure you could argue that, but the point is, in order for them to get that job and that experience, more than likely, they're going to have some sort of formal training or education. College is not a scam, my friends. It will be if you don't do it the right way. So my admonishment to you, my solution to you, is to do it the right way. That's with little to no student loan debt. You don't have to borrow to go to college. Your dream school is probably a financial nightmare. So don't go there. I sincerely hope you're well. This was a little bit too long. This is Jordan Green-Ellis. Thanks for rocking out for another episode of All About the Money. I'm signing out, but I'll see you next week. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis, and I'm your debt-free degree coach, but who I am is not nearly as important as what I'm about to say. This is Kamaya Tynes, one of the students that I've recently worked with, who is a college freshman and on her way to a degree without debt. She actually goes to one of the most expensive schools in her state. It's over $60,000 a year, and she's getting paid to go to school. Why? Because she had the right information. The question isn't whether or not you can pay the bill. So I don't want you to worry, parents, because I know you're thinking about how that premium price is going to get paid, y'all. Your kid has got a dream school, and they got accepted into it, but you're wondering, man, what do I have to do to make sure that this bill is covered? Because I don't want my kid to ruin themselves financially. You and many others have this question, but you don't have the answer. The answer is in the information, y'all. You got to know how to get it done. Just like Kamaya and Antonio and Desiree and many other families that I work with just like yours, the how is in the information, y'all. So I want to encourage you to get the information. If you're wondering of how to foot the bill, if you're wondering if whether or not you're going to have to take drastic measures like my parents did, who actually took money from their retirement to put their baby boy through college, and it still wasn't enough. I still had to borrow over $30,000 of student loans. If you're wondering how to avoid all drastic situations, then I want to encourage you to look no further and come get the answers to your questions at my upcoming boot camp, y'all. I'm going to give you all the information that I give to my families one-on-one in one day. I've come up with a formula. I've come up with a curriculum to be able to give you so that you don't have to depend on anyone else. One of the greatest pitfalls that I see in college preparation is that families think that they have time. Families think that the money's just going to pop up. Families think that the school they're getting ready to send their kid to is going to help them pay for it. And the truth is, y'all, they're not going to help you. I want to encourage you to get to my upcoming boot camp this month. It is the Degree with No Debt College Boot Camp, and I promise you it'll be the best investment that you make this year. Why? Because you're going to get so much of a return on this investment. You're going to be like, I should have paid 20 times as much as I paid for it. There are two ways that you can join this boot camp. There's general admission, which is $50, and you'll be able to join this boot camp and get all the information that you need. And honestly, this would be good enough. But if you want to take it a step further, if you want to enhance your experience, I want to encourage you to join the VIP experience. The VIP experience comes with admission to the boot camp, as well as 2 of my books for free, as well as a scholarship list for free, as well as a private Q&A session for free. And the last bonus is absolutely crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway, y'all. You'll get a month free in my private community called Caps and Gowns University. And it's just basically like the boot camp on steroids, y'all. It's so much more information. It's a community of people that are learning and growing just like you on their way to a debt-free degree. So I want to encourage you to sign up so that you can get the right information. Yes, it's going to be a lot, but you'll have access to the replay for a limited time. You'll be able to have what you need, y'all. And if you have any other questions, please reach out to my team at cgu@jordangreenellis.com. I am signing out, y'all. But I'll see you at the boot camp.